spiritualism defined as the science, philosophy, and religion of continuous life. And that's kind of a shortened version of the full definition of spiritualism. And one of the icons, if you will, the universal thread that runs through spiritualism, whether it's studied as a religion or as a science or as a philosophy, is defined would be the ascertained working sequence or constant order amongst all of nature. In short, God's laws. That would be another way to put it. Universal laws. And in spiritualism, we call that defined as natural law. So that is the definition of natural law according to spiritualism. When Spirit first made an effort to communicate, and it was a sublime effort, and they did a great job with us on this side, and they chose to do that in the Americas, if you will, in a little hamlet called Hydesville, in Hydesville, New York. Thus ultimately winding up being the birthplace of modern American spiritualism back in 1848. Most of the people that came to investigate this purported communication, if you will, were great minds of the day. And I would say because it happened in America and because of the time that it was, I would venture to say that most of the people that were the preliminary or the pioneer investigators to the religion of spiritualism were Christian. And because they were Christian, and because we're in the Western Hemisphere, one of the, I guess, the most sacred book of the time, because of the area and who was involved, would be considered the Bible. So now you have this group of people with Christian backgrounds back in the middle 1800s looking at this new phenomena, if you will, this communication from the spirit side of life, and they must be kind of scratching their head sideways and going, well, surely there has to be, if this is true, and the Bible is a sacred text with many great truths, then there must be some correlation between what we're seeing, what we're now coming to understand, and what's in the Bible. Thank you for turning that off. That being the case, these people now go back to the Bible, and they go, the truth must be in here somewhere. And where is that truth? Where is that thread of truth that runs from one religion to the next, regardless of what it may be called? And sure enough, they found it. Now, it doesn't mean that the words in the Bible changed. It means that they're seeing the Bible through a different set of eyes, if you will, seeing the Bible through a different interpretation, then became to make sense to them. Because I've got to believe that, and this is just my opinion, but I've got to believe that back then it must have felt to them a little bit like, because this was a very strong period of time of Christianity, right? That it must have felt quite a bit like trying to put a square peg in a round hole until they found that grain of truth. And that grain of truth became the icon for spiritualism that we now call natural law. And natural law is an umbrella term, if you will. Because through the years what's happened is we've defined it, we've broke it down into sections, and we've named all of these different laws that we've come to understand as natural law. Some of the names might be the law of cause and effect. And of course, that's in the Bible, as you sow, so shall you reap. Right? So there was a correlation that they were able to tie together. And from a religious aspect, simply put, a belief in God, that's a thread that runs through all religions. Right? A belief in some sort of higher power, some sort of greater force. With spiritualism, when the religion was actually organized and named from these tremendous pioneers that stepped outside of that Christian box and says, hey, we can't turn our backs on the truth. Here it is. But there's got to be something within the sacred text of the Bible that ties all of this together. And so calling it natural law and then coming to understand that, what do we have in common? A belief in a higher power, a belief in the golden rule, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And another big one that fits right in there with spiritualism, a belief in the hereafter in some form or fashion.